Hi guys, so in today's video we're going to be talking about premium hand manual aerators for your lawn. Over the years there's been lots of ways to manually aerate your lawn. It started off years and years ago when your grandparents would use a garden fork and push it into the ground and wiggle it around to create holes. That increases drainage, allows air, rain and nutrients to get down to the root zone. But what it's also doing is pushing soil further down. It's compacting the ground a little bit, but it is better than nothing. Moving on, we had cheap manual aerators, a bit like this one. Now these improved on the idea of using a garden fork. You push them in the ground and it creates a hole in the ground, thus aerating the ground. So it serves a purpose, but the tines here were getting clogged all the time. And pretty soon it wasn't ejecting a core of soil, because what we're trying to do is hollow tine aeration. Now you have hollow tine aeration where it punches a hole and removes a plug of soil, and that relieves compaction, so the surrounding soil can then close in on the holes, thus loosening the surrounding soil so it is less compacted. It was a good start, but the design wasn't brilliant. Then we had some great innovations. This is from a company called J&J. Now these are budget manual aerators, and we do have a video on this particular aerator, but I'm going to be soon doing a comparison between this and the premium ones, and you can see what you get for your money, because there are very distinctive price differences. But I'm here to show you why you should possibly look at the manual premium range in this video. So this is the J&J. And then we'd have the Lansi manual aerator, and this is another low-cost budget manual aerator. And both the J&J and the Lansi have good reviews. But let's see why the premium ones offer more. So what we've got here are two premium, high-end, high-quality, very robust manual aerators. Why are we featuring these on this channel? Because lawn care is for everybody, and everybody has different budgets. So I like to show low budget items, I like to show high budget items, and then I like to show high quality, very high budget machines. Now machines obviously make your life so much easier and so much faster, which they do. And I use machines. I have two hollow tine aerator machines, and they weren't cheap, but I run a business, so that is why we had those. So we have the Lansi and the Swardman. Now both of these are very, very high quality premium manual hollow tine aerators. Let me show you what you get. For a start, both of them feature hollow tines with a cutout. Now hollow means that you can push your finger up inside, the soil comes up and then is ejected out of the hole. Now also, with both of these tools you can replace these tines, because they don't last forever. They start to go blunt and they start to wear down. You can buy replacements for these, so you've always got a high quality machine. So this is a simple Allen key. You just undo those and replace the tines. You also get these solid tines. Sometimes you don't want a hollow tine, sometimes you just want a solid tine, just to get a bit of air into the ground. You don't have to be collecting all the soil cores up every single time, but again, easily replaceable, and all of these can be purchased. Now when we look at the Lansi brand, it's a fairly new brand, but this again is very high quality and slightly different pricing to the Swardman, but again robustly made. Everything is solid metal and welded, and again these tines can be replaced. Come with these protectors on, and again you've got a cross head screw that you undo, and you can just swap the tines over. So Lansi, you can also get the replacement tines as well, and again Dead simple, just swap them over. It takes 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, you've got a tool that's going to last you years and years and years to aerate your lawn. So why do we aerate lawns? Aeration is really important for your lawn. It's something you should do on a regular basis. You want the ground to be full of oxygen and air, and you want it to be free flowing as well. It's really important that everything can drain through nice and easily. Every time you walk on your ground, you are pressing the soil particles down a little bit more each time. Every footstep pushes it down. So the air in and amongst all the particles of soil gets squeezed out. And suddenly things can't drain quite as easily. And over the course of a year, grounds become compacted. And then that's where you start to see lawns begin to suffer. And if your lawn begins to suffer, then the grass becomes weaker. And a weaker grass encourages moss, weeds, disease, and bugs, grubs that can all start attacking the plant, and the grass will then struggle. These are the kind of things you have to do if you want a high-end premium lawn. So, now, let me show you something else here. In this garden, which is my own lawn, we've got all these trees up here and this hedge line going along. Now, this hedge line casts a shadow every single winter that comes halfway across the lawn, sometimes all the way across. So we tend to find every winter it thins along that edge, and we get thinning under the trees. Now, it's already started to thin over there under the trees, and we are beginning to see a little bit of thinning along the edge there. So what can you do? You can aerate your lawns in these sort of conditions. If your lawn is clay, for example, and you don't aerate, when it's really wet and boggy, you may find puddles forming. If you aerate your lawn at this time of the year in autumn, then everything can drain through. So there's less chance of those puddles forming. There's more chance of retaining grass in that area. If you don't aerate, if you don't fork, or you don't use a manual aerator or a machine, or the spikes on your feet, the shoes that you can wear, that ground is going to hold water, and then the grass is going to suffer and get weak. These are all little things to keep your grass up at a good high standard. Every autumn you should be doing some aeration on your lawn without fail. Right, so we'll start off with the Swardman. No frills. Like I say, the benefits are with a manual aerator that is a premium aerator are the changeable tines. This is what makes the difference, and the fact that they are closer spaced together than a lot of the manual budget aerators. They will do the trick, but they will take you longer. This will speed up your time. So if you have larger lawns, then definitely consider a premium handheld manual aerator, because it's going to last for years, and at the end of the day, it's something you've got to do on your lawn. You don't want to be wasting all your time. You don't want to be spending hours and hours and hours doing your lawn. If you can speed something up, you're going to do it. So for the sake of extra money, a one-time investment, it's going to last you so much longer. So we've got all this lawn to aerate. Now, if I'd got nothing else, this is what I would be using. One of these premium ones. If my budget was limited, I would use a manual one. If I've got machines, I'm going to use machines because it saves me time. I can actually take the machine over this lawn in about 10 minutes, and then we've just got to clear up. Now, you should really pick the cores up after you've finished, just because it's unsightly, and then if you step on them, the soil squashes down and just leaves a mess over the lawn. It basically looks like a dog's been and just made a right mess. I personally always pick the cores up. Unless it's really sandy, I'll go over with the mower to pick the cores up, and often the mower will pick up most of the cores. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up to the top, and I'm going to start timing. I'm going to set a timer on my phone. Obviously you want wet soil, so give it a good soak in if you can an hour before. You don't want it too boggy and wet, but you want a bit of moisture in the ground. It makes it easier and your tines will last longer. You are aerating so much more with these, and they are spaced apart just perfect. You might look at your lawn and think, oh, I don't really fancy doing all that, but it's quicker than you think. Plus, you don't have to do your whole lawn in one day. You could do half an hour a night and complete it over a week. Come home from work, just have half an hour until you've had enough. Now I'm spacing around about 3 inches actually. This is the kind of thing you do. You put some headphones on, get your podcast on, your radio. J-Rock's Lawn Care and Gardening, he's got a podcast, or you can just put the radio on and just chill out in your own little world for a few hours. And you know at the end, your lawn's been aerated, compaction has been relieved, drainage has been improved, your lawn will improve, so that's it. That's 3 minutes 45 there to do that one strip. So you'd probably have about 20 strips. So 20 times 3 is 60. So theoretically I could do the whole lawn in an hour without stopping. But if you allow 2 to 3 hours, you could get your lawn done with no hassle really. It's just an afternoon job. So now what we're going to do, we're going to try the Lansi. So we're going to press start and then we're going to go. Okay, let's go. Now the Lansi has a padded handle, and that will certainly be of benefit if you are doing bigger areas. Now I'm wearing Wellingtons and I'm pressing onto the hard metal and you can feel it under your feet, and that was also the case with the Lansi. So work boots may be better, that have a better sole than these, because these are really cheap wellies. However, it's doing the job perfectly fine. It's a little lighter than the Swardman. If you find things heavy, this would be the better option. However, the Swardman with its extra weight means that extra weight is also being pushed down. Now in terms of weight, it is minimal. When I'm talking about weight, I'm not expressing it as a bag of sugar and a bag of potatoes. By and large, they are pretty much the same weight. But the Swardman just feel just a touch heavier. And that may be just the fact that it hasn't got the padding on the handles. So 3 minutes 40, and I actually stopped briefly at the halfway point. So actually the extra 9 seconds was taking it out of my pocket. But as you can see here, 3:49. So by and large they take the same amount of time to aerate. Now, if I was going to manually aerate a lawn, I would have to go over the same piece twice. with a budget manual aerator, because the holes are further apart, so you have to push it in and then move across a couple of inches and then do the next hole. So it is taking you longer, probably 1.5 times as long. I wouldn't say it's twice as long, but it's going to be at least 1.5 times as long. So speed is what you get with the advantage of buying a premium manual aerator tool. Now, like any tool in life, they will last as long as you care for them and look after them. It is really important that you clean them after every single use. Just get your hose pipe or some water and flush it through the tines so they are nice and clean for the next use. If you let soil drain inside and it goes hard, it's going to get compacted inside the tine. So that will make it hard for further soil to be pushed out. So you should always clean the tines after every single use. You can see here that the Lansi is just a little bit taller. But I'm only short myself. I'm 5'3", so both of these work perfectly fine. They're both at a fairly good height. This one is around the belly area and this one's at the top of the belly area. Again, it is what it is. The width is identical. But you can clearly see that the Lansi has about an extra 2 inches of height. Some of you may prefer the Lansi if you're on the taller side, so you are not bending down so much. But they both push in equally fine. So that is literally all I've got to say on these two. Now, something you really should think about doing, every time you aerate your lawn, if you want to improve your soil, is to try and get some compost down on the ground and get it worked into the soil. Now, you noticed I cut the grass really short, and I always do that before aeration because, one, it makes it easier to pick the cores up. When you're raking in long grass, it is really hard and they don't just flow along. But if you are raking on shortcut grass, they just rake up so much easier. Or if you're using a blower, they will blow faster. So it's all very much a time-saving thing to do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get these 2 rows cleared up, and then we're going to get some compost. And I'm going to get some compost on the ground and show you how we do that. So I am a big fan of Bulldog. I have tried a few different brands. I'm not saying these are the best in the world, but for me, Bulldog do seem to last and last and last very well. And these have performed brilliantly over the years. These little teeth here do wear down over time, so try not to scrape concrete. Make sure you're only scraping the grass. But now we've got the grass cut short, we can rake the cores into little piles. You can try going over with your mower. You may pick some up, but if it's wet and sticky, you will struggle. Put it on a low setting and see how you get on. So these are heavy duty leaf grabbers. I think I've had this set 5 years. These are the only ones that sort of stay aligned. They are thicker here. This joint is really important. You can get really cheap ones that are like a dark green colour, and the metal is so thin, I promise you that what will happen is these will twist. The 2 pieces of metal twist. As soon as you start putting any pressure on picking things up, they're all right for leaves, but for soil cores, you need to go above and get something a bit better. Like I say, I've had these 5 or 6 years now, and they just make life so much easier. So what I want to do is get some compost on the grass. Multi-purpose compost. Now there's a few different ones I've used over the years. I'm not particularly stuck with any one brand. I've just been to Home Bargains this morning, picked some of these up, and I've used this before and I'm quite happy with it. It might be a bit wet because it's been outside and we've had a lot of rain, and it is quite heavy, so I'm expecting this to struggle a bit, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not bad. So there's a few ways you can get this on. You can chuck it on by hand, you can make piles and work it backwards and forwards. I'm going to use this Lansi compost spreader. What an absolute lifesaver this has been. It gets used on every single job I do now. I think this is my 2nd year using this, but it's just great. It does the trick. There we go. So literally the handle stays in there and it just locks into place. You put your compost in there. Okay, I normally put a full bag in, but I'm going to see how far this goes. Now normally I get about 5 square metres, possibly up to 10, depending on what it's like. There isn't much in there at all, to be honest. Anyway, it's about half a bag. So you just close it up, put the catches on, and this is where all the fun begins. Because get it at the start position and just walk. Now, I should have put the full bag in to get the full benefit, so let's just put the rest in. So we've still got these big lumps because they're wet, but normally this is so easy. This has to be my #1 favourite tool for renovations, it really does. I saw one of these a few years ago on YouTube, and then Garden Imports went out of the way and obviously started importing them into the UK. And you know what I mean, it's just brilliant. Always carry it to wherever you were, and it starts to thin out around here. But honestly, how good is that? How fast is that? So, as you can see, that's how you top dress with compost. Now you're getting some organic goodness into the ground, and it only improves things. It improves the soil, it improves the microbiology. These are the things you want to be doing. Now, obviously that's just going to take 10 minutes or so to get it over the whole lawn. Now, what you don't want to do, you don't want to leave piles like that sat on top of the grass, because it is smothering the grass. You need to work it down so it's down at ground level. So it's in and amongst the blades of grass. Watch this. Okay, look, compost is still there, but it's now down. And some of it will have gone down the holes. And the grass can see the sun, the grass can thrive. This makes a big difference. It really does. Now, you don't want to be going over your whole lawn with your hands, so I've got a couple of little tricks for you. We have a lawn levelling lute there, and we have a brush. You can also use the back of a rake. Perfectly fine. But when you invest in tools, it makes life easier and faster, especially when you're running a business or you have a big lawn. So with a brush, you can work it in like that. Done. Yeah? The same compost is still there, but it's now down at ground level. Some will have gone into the soil, down the aeration holes, making a big difference. Trust me. Then we have these lawn levelling lutes. They are the same as brushes, but lutes are made for when you've got little humps and hollows and you're using a bit of soil to get your levels absolutely right, or a little bit of sand, sandy soil. But they also work really well with top dressing. Okay, how fast was that? Literally done. So you can work it backwards and forwards, or you can push, turn around and then push back. How fast is that? Woo. So it's all about saving time. So what we've just done there, without me talking, would take you 20 minutes. If you do your whole lawn, it's an afternoon's job. You've aerated the lawn, you've improved the drainage, you've increased the amount of oxygen and nutrients that can get down. And we've got some compost on, multi-purpose compost. You're getting organic goodness into the ground. This is from old plant material. There are nutrients in there. There are bacteria within there. And increasing the bacteria in your soil is a good thing. So yeah, we are featuring the Lansi lawn levelling lute, the Lansi 24-inch compost spreader. And we're also featuring the Lansi hollow tine aerator manual hollow tine aerator tool with interchangeable tines. And also the Swardman manual hollow tine corer with interchangeable tines. Both of these, if you go online, have a look at the reviews. They are really, really high quality reviews. They are made to very high standards, and basically I can't say enough about them. If your only tool as your budget fits is a manual aerator, then definitely consider a premium one. Simple reason, you're putting more rolls in at the same time. Yes, you pay a little bit more initially, but these are going to last you for years. And if ever they go blunt, which they will, it's just life, things wear down, you just swap them over. They're interchangeable. So you pop some new ones on, boom, you've got a nice brand new machine again. It really is just down to personal choice. Like I say, both very high quality, very well made. I got these because I wanted to know which was the best. Now, I really don't have a favourite. I found that the Lansi seemed to produce better cores that came out, but it may just be because they were a little bit sharper on the end. So it's cutting better and then ejecting better. With the Swardman, it was still producing cores, but some of them weren't cleanly coming out, and it may just be a little bit blunter there on the end, and just the fact that the soil's a bit wet because we used this one first. But again, both great pieces of kit. So it is just down to personal choice, but I can't fault them. So we do have another video which will be out very similar time to this, which is going to compare these to the manual ones that are on a budget. Now on a budget we're talking about £30, £40. These are quite a bit more, they're over £100, but you do get what you pay for, and this is going to speed up how fast you can get through your lawn. So if you've got any questions, please pop them down in the comments below. I've got these now, so I'm going to be using them for like little sections of lawn where I can't get the machine in. I'll be using them into the corners just to punch some holes in. So all good. And like I said, any questions, please pop them down below. I'm here to help. At the end of the day, if you don't want to go with any aerator, get your garden fork. It's better than nothing. And just go along your ground if it's had a bit of water on the day before, and it will do the world of good. It'll make such a difference. Yeah. So, right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.